Coach, we'll turn it over to you, and then again, we'll take questions and hit the raise your hand.
This is the third week of preseason practice, eighth practice. We had a little heat out there today, which was good for us. We hadn't had a whole lot this fall camp. I thought our guys pushed through it pretty well. We continue to get to work on special teams, which has been a priority because we had several days we had to go inside, just the ball handling aspect, snappers, holders, kickers, just having an opportunity to continue to work that in live situations, handling the ball in the back end. We feel like we've got some guys that have really good ability in the return game, but number one priority is securing the ball. I still feel like offensively, I feel like our offensive line continues to improve every day, getting more and more guys that, that are playing at the kind of the right pad level, eliminating mental errors. So one thing we've got to do is we've got to be more aggressive up front defensively, not creating enough negative plays. Got to continue to improve on that. And we've got to be able to get the ball out on defense. So, one thing that we did do this week is we launched our V-Flight program, headed up by Ashley Smith. Ashley does a fantastic job. It's a great initiative to really launch our players' career beyond football. It's one of the things that when I first got here, that's something that we didn't have that we wanted to be able to start. And we really, for a couple of years, we really studied a lot of people across the country and tried to steal some ideas, but Ashley has a lot of really good ideas, and we're fired up about it. And we feel like that as we progress through this thing, we're going to have the best program in the country when it comes to launching our guys' career after football. So we're excited about that. I'll take any questions.
Questions, hit the raise your hand function, and we'll start with Austin Price.
Coach, and talking to some high school coaches around the area, they've had to kind of come up with contingency plans in case one of them comes down with the virus and can't coach a particular week. Have you and your staff kind of worked through scenarios where, if a man goes down, this person steps into that role? And the fact you've got multiple guys that have called defense and called offense before, how much does that help a transition like that?
Well, we've not put a plan together, but, just starting offensively, if something happened to Jim, you got T and Will and Chris, Joe, Jay, all those guys could call plays. So it's not an issue there. And the same thing defensively. We got guys that are familiar with what we do, so we'll be fine.
We'll go to Brent Hubbs, followed by David Ubben.
Coach, two questions. One, are you surprised that we're still seeing some opt-outs around the country 3 weeks into fall camp? And are you still dealing with that, or have you had to deal with that anymore on your team? And secondly, football-wise, what do you think about your ability to rush the quarterback off the edge? What are you seeing out of that group?
Well, I don't know a whole lot about the opt-outs across the country. So I just know about the guys on our team. So, and we've had one. But again, like I said before, we'll support our guys in every way possible. When it comes to rushing the quarterback, we've really got to improve there. It's something that, we felt like in the off season that from getting the quarterback off the spot and improving our pass rush up the middle and finding guys that can, once they get on the edge, capture an edge and finish. In college football, the ball comes out really fast. So lots of times you can affect the quarterback more so up the middle than you can on the edge, and we've really got to improve there.
David?
Jeremy, kind of related to Austin's question, have you guys done anything or had any contingency plans for if you miss a ton of players or a position group? For example, like Austin P the other night had all three of their long snappers out and had to kind of figure that out on the fly. Have you guys sort of done anything and sort of maybe moving linemen on the other side of the ball or anything like that?
Well, we've already done some things since we've been here. Playing a few guys on both sides of the ball or working them on one side. Last year, Quavaris Krauts played running back. Jeremy Banks has played running back. Aaron Beasley has played running back since he's been here. we use defensive players as tight ends and short yardage and goal line. So you've got to be creative. I feel like if it gets to that point, my high school background would probably create an advantage for us. We've definitely talked about do we need an emergency guy at certain positions. So, in fact, I just actually talked to our team about that. And it's the reason we practice the way we practice is to develop the entire team. We've always done that. So we'll continue to do that, and it gives everybody opportunity to continue to grow as a player.
We'll go to Trey Wallace, followed by Blake Topmeyer.
Coach, can you update the overall health of the team? I know that you called off practice on Friday for precautionary measures, and you guys had another round of COVID testing. Can you update that and how that might affect practice, if any, this week?
Well, we definitely had a few more last week than we have had, in the last several weeks. So we opted to test again and make sure, it's like I told you guys, the first priority is the safety of our football team. And when we tested, we felt like we were in pretty good shape. So we went ahead and practiced on Saturday and again today. So we'll continue to do that. And as we continue to test, and hopefully as the season progresses, we'll do a better job of, kind of preventing the spread amongst our team.
Blake?
Hey, Jeremy, with as many conferences and college football teams that aren't playing this fall, does it feel like you guys are going to be competing for a true national championship this year?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can't control how many teams play, obviously. So we're going to work hard to be at our best every single day. It's one thing that we've really got to do as a football program is work on consistency. I think our guys understand what the standard is, but playing to that standard every single day and everything that we do, we're not there yet. We've got a few players that, do that on a consistent basis, but not near enough to where we want to be.
We'll go to Gustavo.
Coach, you said yourself, the team has been practicing for like 3 weeks. And how do you see the unity of the roster in terms of coming together? They had a chance on Saturday to express their voices, to express what they think, and being together as a team, working together. What do you think about the unity of the roster?
Well, I've always felt that since I've been here, our players have been close. And, one thing about being away from here, these guys went home in March, and didn't come back till June, and not everybody came back in June. So it was July really before we kind of got everybody back. And I think that's a very important thing about this year is who can develop the chemistry, to create that winning atmosphere that can find ways to overcome adversity. It's something that we've preached about as a staff amongst ourselves, that we feel like that relationships with our players, being able to overcome adversity, whether it's something outside our building or inside our building, is going to be important this year. And I think it starts with leadership, which starts with a coaching staff and with our players. And I believe that, with our player development guys and our weight room, we've developed a culture around here that everybody has a voice, but everybody respects each other and respects each other's opinion. And what goes on here, we keep it in here. Gustavo, can I ask you a question?
Of course, Coach.
Were you trying to show me something on your shirt when I sat down?
No. Sorry. I was just thinking. I'm sorry. And a follow-up question, since you asked me one. How your players felt, engaging the march in terms of being with the students, being with the community, because as you said yourself, they left the march, they've been away a long time, and, being together for something with their fellow student. How did they feel? Did they talk to you about the experiences on Saturday?
Well, Saturday was one day, okay? And, it was a really, really good thing for our players and everybody that was involved. But that's one day. This is something that we want to help create a change. That's not only going to change for one day, for the next day, the day after that, and generations to come. So it's something that I personally believe in. Our players on our team believe in. Our coaching staff does. So we're going to continue to work hard to create change.
We'll go to Rob Lewis and then back to Trey Wallace.
Coach, now in year 3, you've got a core group of upperclassmen that have been in your program, and they closed last year on a 6-game win streak. Can you see that carried over in terms of confidence in the way they go about their business, that they've had some success, and and are they built? Can you tangibly see them building on that?
Well, the guys that have been in our program, whether it's for 3 years, 2 years, or this is their first year, the guys that have been here, they understand the standard that we set when it comes to training, when it comes to going to class, preparing to be the best that you can possibly be. Obviously knowing the standard and competing to that standard every day is a whole different story. And we have a long ways to go. We have a lot of guys that can do it right now. And they try to do it every single day, but we don't have near enough to be where we want to be. So that's something that we've got to continue to work on. It's consistency. We talked about it this whole off season, and we're not there yet. So we've got to continue to challenge each other to get on the highest level.
Trey?
Jeremy, what has recruiting been like for you? The dead period, we don't know when that will extend on through. So it's got to be a lot different than sending all your coaches out on the road, maybe on a Thursday or Friday night. What's that going to look like this fall? Is it just more tape for you guys to go over? And how do you attack that along with preparing for a really weird scheduled season?
Well, to me, there's 2 parts in recruiting that are really unusual. The first one is the evaluation part. So normally you have spring ball, you have summer camps, whether they're on your campus, they're at somebody else's campus, or there's somebody that puts on a camp where you can get verified information. You have track and field in the spring. You get a chance to watch guys practice, see them compete. You get to coach them lots of times when they come to your camp, and it just all helps in the evaluation process. Now you look across our country, there's very few states that are playing high school football. So you're talking about, you're trying to compare, let's just say a player that is actually playing this year, his tape to somebody that hadn't played since last year. So it's a big difference in a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old, or a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old. So that's one thing about recruiting that's very unusual this time. The other part is because of unlimited phone calls for this class. For me, I feel like that out of the guys that we've recruited, some that are committed to us, some that are not, some that are not committed anywhere. I feel like I know their families. It's just been lots of phone conversations, Zoom calls. I've really enjoyed it, getting to know a lot of people, and it's kind of, the ups and downs. It's kind of happened over the last 6 months. I feel like you get a chance to experience it because we've all had them. Probably everybody on this call has probably had some ups and downs, whether it's in your immediate family or your extended family. So, it's to me, I've enjoyed sharing that process with the people that we're recruiting, and getting a chance to really get to know a lot of folks. It's been fun.
Well, time for a few more. We'll go to Blake and then back to Brent Hubbs.
Hey, Jeremy, at running back, is anybody standing out to kind of join Ty and Eric in that rotation? And then also, who's leading your competition at offensive tackles?
T. Hodge and Jabari Smalls have been really steady for freshmen. They've got a lot to learn. Obviously, every freshman does. Whether it's pass protection or holding on to the football or staying on their feet in practice. But both guys are really good competitors. They're very smart. They have really good hands. They're instinctive. So both of those guys, they'll both play this year. Fred Orr is a guy that's a walk-on from right here in the state of Tennessee. He's another guy that, he played for us last year in several games. I think we played him in 4 games so he could redshirt, but he played on special teams, and he's a guy that'll contribute on special teams again this year. And you said what was the question, the other part, Blake?
Offensive tackles, just how that competition's there. I know you got multiple guys with starting experience at that spot.
Right. So it's good. We've got guys that, have to compete every day. The one thing is most of our guys can play multiple positions. They can play guard or tackle. But we have competition. One thing about it, Jameer Johnson, he's a senior. Trey could bounce out there. He's a senior. Finding guys that can play offensive tackle is a priority for us, and we've got to continue to grow and develop those guys.
Brent, did you have a question?
Yeah, Coach, can you just talk a little bit about the competition at the safety position, and is there any negative to having a spread out fall camp that's maybe not as concise as it is in a normal year? I know you can't control that calendar, but is there anything you worry about because of that?
Well, one thing in fall camp, anybody that's played college football that's experienced it, there's a lot of back-to-back days. Right or wrong, you develop a lot of mental and physical toughness. So we're not having one of those camps this year. It gives you an opportunity to see guys that can push through, that can practice when they're sore, when they're tired, can focus, can execute. The other part that I really kind of liked about this fall camp is you get a chance to teach in between each day, which has been very positive. So it's very similar to spring practice. You practice a day, you take a day off, and you correct and kind of walk through and do a lot of teaching, which I love doing. And we've got great teachers on our staff. So that's been really good. You had another part of the question?
Yeah, just the safety competition. What do you see in that position back there, and kind of how's that gone the first part of camp?
Well, one thing that we've really tried to focus on, we need to create more turnovers in the deep part of the field. So it's something that we hadn't felt like we've done a very good job of since we've been here. We've got to create turnovers. We need guys that have range, and we need guys that can erase. If you play aggressive on defense, there's going to be times in the run game the ball is going to spit out there, and you got to have a safety that can knock the guy down for a 7-yard gain. So got guys that's got to be able to play man to man and be great tacklers in open field, and that's something that we've really worked hard on, and we've challenged our guys every single day. So we've got some competition back there. It's guys are, different guys are running with the ones every day. So that's a good thing. We need competition back there because we need more production at that position.
Really quickly, last question. We'll go to Austin.
Coach, you have a lot of quality bodies on your defensive line that have played a lot of football here. Have any of those guys impressed you in fall camp, and kind of where are those two positions at?
Well, we've got guys that can play winning football. We got to play with more toughness up there. We got to play with more awareness. We got to be more consistent. And again, that's kind of the whole team. We just got to continue to improve every single day. But the one guy that I feel like is had really good practices every single day is Latrell Bumpus. The guy he comes to work every single day, you know, and he's trying to be at his best, you know. So, you know, Matt Butler's another guy. So we've got to we got to get other guys to raise their level of play at that position. And that's a choice.
All right. Thanks, everybody.